Y'all want to know what I learned from the after party? That Madison is a liar. I mean, she literally sat up there and just lied through her teeth. When I tell you the way I was like, Madison. Now, I already knew she was fake, and I know that she lives a double life on camera and off of camera, but the way she sat up there and lied, baby, we got some things to get into. Hey y'all, it's Chloe, and we're back with another video. Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 7, the after party. Let's get into this review, but before we do, I need you guys to do me a favor. If this is your first time here, sit back, relax, watch the video through, and if you like what you see, you like what you hear, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before and you feel like you just can't commit, I'm trying to figure out why. Just go ahead and press the button. I promise you will love it here. If you are one of my lovely members or subscribers, hey y'all, how y'all doing? I just want to say thank you. Thank you, because Married at First Sight has really been coming through for me. My audience has really been standing up and subscribing, and for that I say I appreciate you all for getting me to 10K. Baby, let's get into this after party. So the after party starts with Keisha, Madison, Juan, and Simone. Simone is a producer from Entertainment Tonight, and she's joining in on the conversation. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really get a lot of the things that she said because I really just want to focus on what our couples had to say, okay? So the first clip we get is of Madison coming home telling Allison about her night. Now, Keisha asked her once we got back to the after party room, girl. Now listen, I'm a girl's girl. But I just don't understand why you didn't spend the first night in your apartment with your husband. Madison said the honeymoon was hard for her, and she cried almost the whole time she was there, and then just sleeping in a bed with a stranger, it was a lot for her. Now I'm sitting here wondering, I'm questioning everything, because not one time did we see Madison cry. If Madison was crying the whole entire time, how come there is no footage of this? Is it production, or if it's Madison playing it up for the cameras? I'm just confused, because you're telling David in one scene how you want Alan to touch you and stuff like that, but then you're just crying the whole time and sleeping in the bed with him is overwhelming. Make it make sense. It's not making sense. So she told Keisha that she didn't intend on not coming home. She literally just fell asleep and woke up the next day like, damn, I messed up. She knows it wasn't a good start, but that's not what she intended. Now let's rewind this back a few, okay? Y'all remember Alan said that she texted him at 12:30 and said that she wasn't coming home? Remember he said that? So what do you mean you didn't intend on, staying out? You was going to come home and you just woke up the next morning like, oh my gosh, I messed up. It sounds like you literally texted him and told him you wasn't coming home. So make it make sense. It sounds like a bunch of lies, and more lies. I honestly don't even believe you apologized to him. She said she apologized to Alan. All I'm getting from this is that Madison is a liar, okay? Keisha asked her if she could do it over, what would she do? She said she would just tell Alan that, she wanted to keep it light and that she wanted to stay home and order some takeout and watch a movie. So that means that you literally didn't have dinner plans. You made up these plans so you can go out. Madison, I have so many questions, sis, because where did you go? Who was you with? And what was you doing? It's hard for me to believe anything you say at this moment. It really, really is. So because we're on this conversation of how Madison needed space but didn't need space, or whatever the case may be, Keisha asked Juan, does he need space from Carla? Juan said he's just enjoying himself and getting to know Carla. Let me tell you how I feel about Juan. I feel like Juan is playing it safe. Juan is watching his words very, very carefully to make sure he doesn't say the wrong thing at the wrong time. I can tell by the way he talks that they didn't make it. I really feel like they didn't make it, because y'all know after party is shot after the season. I feel like they didn't make it. So then we get the clip of Juan taking Carla to the storage unit. So Keisha asked Juan how did he feel about finding out that she's basically homeless and living out of a storage unit. He says he tries to be cool about everything, and he's really just trying to get to know Carla, so he doesn't want to judge her. You see what I mean? You see what I mean about him trying to choose the words properly? I try to be cool about everything, meaning, I wasn't cool with that. I wasn't cool with that. He then said that he was surprised to find out that she lives in a storage unit, and it's really not a good sign of stability. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But he doesn't want to hold it over her head. I feel like Juan was like, who they done set me up with? Especially because Juan is already in like this financial bond. I know his wheels are turning because in his mind he is thinking, I cannot take care of another human being and, invest in my business. Because at this point, that's exactly what he's going to end up doing, even though Carla says she doesn't want to be taken care of. I don't know. I don't know. We're going to really have to see how this plays out, because I really feel like there is a disconnect between Juan and Carla. I just can't pinpoint exactly who's to blame. Who's going to be to blame? But something's telling me it's Carla. I feel like Carla isn't portraying who she really is. And once she starts showing who she really is, it's going to be a mess. It's going to be a mess. So Keisha was like, I totally understand what you're saying, Juan. But I find it crazy how Carla could live out of a storage unit and basically be homeless, but David living in his family house is such an issue. How did I know that question was about to come up? How did I know it? I knew it was coming. Simone says that she feels bad for Michelle because David's in his 30s and he chooses to live at home. Carla, on the other hand, just didn't renew her lease because she was getting married and chooses to start her life with someone. Me personally, I feel like the basement isn't so much the issue for me. Once we saw the basement, that's when, my wheels started turning, because it really looks like someplace where you shouldn't be living. It really looks like he lives in his parents' basement. Not like an apartment, not like in a studio, not the way he described it. But nonetheless, to downplay Carla being homeless and David living in the basement is crazy. Because homegirl ain't got nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. At least David got somewhere to put his head at night. That he's paying rent for. Because at this point, Carla's paying no bills. But it's a double standard and that's the way life works. So what can I say? Madison had to jump in and defend David. And I kind of feel like them two will end up being a couple that swap, because she literally jumped in there, okay? She was like, I kind of understand why he lives with his parents. I think the why is more important. He's saving to buy a house and he's willing to move out. So it doesn't seem like a big deal to me. And I'm like, I'm sure it doesn't, Madison. I'm absolutely sure it doesn't. She said that they need to ask more questions. I don't feel like there's any more questions that Michelle can ask David about that basement that we don't know the answers to. We already know why the man lives there. We already know his situation. So if Michelle doesn't want to accept it at this point, that is completely on her. So then we watched a clip of Madison and Alan talking to Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper about how it's okay to change in a relationship as long as it's for the benefit of them. So Keisha asked Madison, I know you're struggling with attraction to Alan, but he really seems like a nice, funny guy. Are there any other qualities that you find attractive about him? She said that he's a really great guy, and his ability to talk calmly and have intelligent conversations is one of his best qualities. She said they have great conversations. I don't believe Madison at all. Y'all are not talking in that house. I don't care how many times you try to convince us that you and Alan have this great communication. I do not believe it, because for one, the man has been working out for 4 or 5 days a week and you didn't know it. So please miss me with the lies, Madison. Madison's a liar. So Keisha said, Juan, so I know that you and Carla are taking it slow in the intimacy department. How do you show her that you're still attracted to her? Juan said by cleaning up and cooking and stuff like that. That's how I show that I care. I don't think that's enough. I mean, that shows that you care about the space y'all live in. That shows that you gotta eat, so she gotta eat. I don't know if that's really showing her that you're attracted to her without intimacy, as far as sex is concerned. Because there still could be physical touch, there could be hugs, there could be kisses. There could be something a little bit more than just, cooking somebody breakfast and cleaning up the house that you both live in. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. So then we watched a clip of Juan and Carla talking to Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper, where Juan was telling them that he started pulling back, which caused Carla to pull back. Keisha was like, I saw you with your little notebook, Juan. What's going on with that? So apparently, Juan and Carla have a notebook of things that they write down to hold each other accountable. And in this notebook, they write down, what they like about each other, what they don't like, what makes them happy, what doesn't make them happy. So this way, they can always come back to or refer to or hold each other accountable, and it's good for conflict resolution. I like that idea. I feel like we should have gave all these couples a handy dandy notebook, so this way when the experts come, we can really get into the problems, the issues that occurred when the expert wasn't there, so that we can solve them. I think that's a beautiful idea. I think all couples should do that. I'm about to go get me a little handy dandy notebook and start writing down some stuff and telling my husband, okay? Because accountability is always needed in a relationship. So Keisha asked Juan, were you really pulling back, or was this just a transition from honeymoon Juan to everyday today Juan? Juan said it was like a reality check. Everything was just moving so fast. So he needed to slow it down so he could really process what was going on and just, how their everyday life was going to work together. He said he's very attracted to her, but it's too early to tell whether or not they're going to be able to build a solid foundation. And that's what I mean by how Juan is choosing his words. I'm still getting to know her. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to build a solid foundation. Yeah, no, they didn't work. They didn't work. I don't think Juan actually likes some of the qualities he's learning about Carla, which is why he makes it a point to keep saying, I'm still learning her, I'm still learning her, I'm still learning her. So then we watched the clip of Carla asking Juan, can he move in? And Juan was like, I know I look so confused in that clip, but it's because I was really just trying to envision it. I was really just trying to see how it works. So Keisha was like, so you want to let her move some of her stuff in or what? He was like, listen, my hammock and my table can stay. I got a lot of room. I'm sure we can make it work. I don't think Juan is really ready to let go of his bachelor pad. And I don't think that he was expecting for Carla to want to move into his apartment. If anything, I feel like maybe they should get a shared apartment and he should let his cousin continue to live in his apartment for the meantime and between time, because they eventually will get divorced. So now we are at the second half of the show, and Michelle and Thomas have joined Simone and Keisha. Now, I was really intrigued for this part because I really wanted to know how Thomas was feeling about everything. And I really wanted to get some raw, uncut, conversation about how Michelle felt about David's place. So we watched a clip of Thomas and Camille having a conversation with Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper about how he has no swag. Okay? And Keisha asked him, Thomas, how did that really make you feel? Thomas said that it really humbled him. It's a really humbling experience, and he's low-key felt embarrassed because he really looks up to Pastor Cal. So for her to just come out and say that, kind of embarrassed him. He said he definitely swallowed his pride and listened to what they had to say, and he was just going to take it from there. I want to say I really feel bad for Thomas because I feel like although Camille isn't, actually saying what she wants to say, it's low-key verbal abuse. To continue to call someone out on their blackness and their swag appeal. And I'm really confused for the life of me because you would think Camille was the baddest bitch in the room. You would think that she was walking around in her showcase with the cute little fitted dresses on, hair back in the bun, Chanel earrings, like she was giving what it's supposed to give. And I'm not getting any of that from her. It's definitely giving white girl, floral sundress with the flat sandals prancing around. And I'm trying to figure out, Camille, where's your blackness? I haven't heard not one black reference or anything. Swag? We're still using words like swag, and you want me to take you serious while you calling out somebody else on their blackness? Absolutely not. Immediately no. And I really feel like Camille needs to get a chill pill and check herself at the door. But I'm definitely not done with Camille. Not yet. So Keisha asked Thomas, what's his normal type? He said he has no type really. He dated all types of women, but Camille is normally the type of woman that he goes for. Right, because she's just unswaggy as you are. It just makes perfect sense, which is why it baffles me to why Camille feels like she's on the top radar of blackness. Anyways, Keisha said, well, since we're talking about, what attracts us, what are you attracted to, Michelle? Michelle says she doesn't have a type. She goes by personality. Someone that just walks in and lights up a room and has confidence. Michelle, stop lying, sis. Stop lying. Stop lying. Stop lying. Because if you really went by personality, you would have gave David a chance. You didn't give that man a chance. You heard basement and you shut down completely. So miss me with the I go off of personality and confidence. Da 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 da. BS, 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 BS. So then we watched a clip of David and Michelle talking to Pastor Cal and Dr. Pia, where she was talking about her fear of the unknown. So Keisha asked her, what are you really afraid of, Michelle? Michelle says she's afraid of losing her independence, afraid of losing who she really is. No, no, you're not. I really hate that Michelle is getting this sympathy card, and it's bothering me so bad because that is not what you're afraid of. You're afraid that you got married to a man who potentially could be broke. That's it, and that is all. Keisha said, well, how will you be able to find love if you don't let your guard down? Michelle will let her guard down for a man who makes 6 figures, has a Bentley, and a penthouse. Even though she lives in her simple apartment, which she was so offended by being called simple. She's talking about she's working on it. I mean, Michelle will really have to do a complete turnaround for the rest of the season for me to really believe that she's working on it. She really would. So then we watched a clip of Camille telling her sister about how she feels she's in a biracial relationship. And I'm going to read this from my notes because I don't want to twist what Thomas said, because Keisha asked Thomas how he feels. Thomas said they are just trying to work through it. He said he does feel offended by it. He said as Black people, we are American culture and we come in all different shapes, size, colors, and tones. And there isn't any one type of Black man. He said he is who he is and he's going to continue to be unapologetically himself. He thinks he treats people very well. It's tough to hear these things because if anyone meets me for the first time, they will see a Black man. I could not have said it better myself, Thomas. And it really bothers me that Camille's version of Black is swag. Camille's version of Black is urban. That really, really bothers me. She done put all Black men in a box. And if you are not this type of man, then you are not Black. And I'm just trying to figure out, what box is she in? What box are you coming from exactly, Camille? Do you want him to be ghetto? Is that it? You want him to be a hood dude? What is it? Because I'm looking at you and the characteristics I feel like you're looking for from him, I don't see him in you. Camille really pissed me off because it's women like her who give Black men, wants to better themselves and behave a certain way, a bad image. And that is disgusting. So of course we had to get to the last clip, and y'all know what that clip was going to be. David showing Michelle his apartment and asking her if she feels any better about this apartment, this studio that he lives in. And I'm like, I don't even know why David even asked that. Like, child, you know that's not an apartment or a studio. You know it wasn't given that. It was definitely given basement where you put your bed. That's what it was given. Let's be honest. So Keisha asked Michelle, girl, how did you feel after seeing that apartment? She said it definitely didn't reassure her, and it was actually worse than what she expected. I think it was worse than what we all expected, because for the life of me, okay, let's talk about this for a second. David has been there for 8 months, okay? So he wasn't technically living there his whole adult life. He was living with his ex-fiance. They broke up. He moved there. It just made perfect sense for him. I get all of that. I'm cool with that. Makes sense to me, right? But then he said that he only sleeps there. He's not really there for a long period of time. But then he turned around and said he plays darts 2 to 4 hours a day. And I'm still like, so you are here. So that means that you do have time to put a little bit of effort into the space that you're in. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go ahead and rearrange the whole daggone basement, but at least make your room where you sleep and lay your head, and sometimes occasionally bring girls back to look presentable. That was unacceptable. So I understand when Michelle said it was given very frat boy. I totally get it. But my thing is, Michelle, if you wanted your certain type of man, then you should go find your own man. Not only that, you should have never agreed to Dr. Pia asking you, how would you feel about a man living in a basement if he was planning on moving out? Because you said that you would be okay with that as long as he was planning on moving out. And David has told you plenty of times that he plans on moving out. So at the end of the day, this is nobody's fault but your own. Yes, the experts should have never gave you him, but they actually gave you a heads up. They talked to you about it. You said you was okay with it. So yes, be upset with yourself. Yes, it's your fault at this point. That's what happens when you let experts match you up to get married at first sight on national television. You're not going to get everything that you asked for. You're really not going to just walk in and have Prince Charming standing at the door, because that's just not how this whole process works, which is why it's called married at first sight. So Keisha asked Thomas what he thought about it from a male's perspective. And Thomas said, we as men just live different before we get in relationships. Like, we don't really care about certain stuff. Like, we live a whole different life before we get in relationships. And I totally get all of that. Now, I understand that your house may not be decked out and have plants and flowers and stuff. But I do feel like as an adult, you should take personal pride in where you lay your head at night. And I didn't get that from David at all. Keisha asked her, was there any good things that she at least learned from the visit? She said that she learned that he's very close with his family. I'm like, we knew that. He'd been telling you that from the beginning. She saw all his pictures of him and his family. She found out that he was a child model. So there was some good things about David that she learned. I'm glad we leaving this off on a positive note, because I know that it's only going to go downhill from here. And y'all, that was the after party. I really hope y'all enjoyed this review, okay? I also am reviewing The Ultimatum, so y'all go check out those videos, okay? Episodes 4 and 5 will be up later on today, so go get caught up so you don't get left behind. Make sure that you leave your comments about this episode down below in the comments. Let me know what you think about all the things. Drop me some yellow hearts if you have nothing to say. And did you subscribe? Make sure you're subscribed. And with all that being said, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.